Hi, Joel Logan with a Hole in the Ground Terrain. Welcome to the first of a multiple part series of videos. We're going to be doing a bunch of tutorial videos on how to make a cavern slash mine set. So we're going to start with the obvious. Before we really get into building, we got to talk about what tools you need and about what supplies you need, because this is something I want you to try to build along at home with me. So the first thing we're going to talk about is foam. Everything we do is going to be out of foam on this tutorial. So let's talk about the two kinds. There's two kinds of foam. You've got your traditional beaded kind of foam, what I call it. And this is the kind of foam you generally get when you buy a TV, a computer monitor, or any kind of electronics. If you touch it, it just flakes apart and falls apart. Now you can buy compounds from like Hot Wire Foam Factory to strengthen it up and make it hard, but overall it's very weak and flimsy. And as a general rule with terrain, you don't use beaded foam. You want to use extruded polystyrene foam. And I got a piece here to show you. The advantage of this is hard and tough. What this stuff is designed for is to go in between the joist and walls to use as insulation to keep your home warm. So this is what I recommend buying. Usually people will call it the blue or the pink stuff. Now for the purposes of this tutorial, I would like for you to find some 2-inch foam. 1.5 or inch could work, but it's going to complicate it. 2-inch is ideal for this. My favorite brand I like to buy is the Owens Corning Foamular. It's the stuff you see with the Pink Panther logo on it. Now there's other brands out there. Feel free to get whatever you want. But once again, extruded polystyrene or Foamular, the specific brand I like, is what you want to use. So now that we've established what kind of foam to get, let's talk about where to buy it. Typically in America, it's your do-it-yourself home fix-it warehouse stores. I have a local Home Depot store that I buy a lot of it at. My local Home Depot here in the state of Georgia has 1/2-inch and 2-inch. But I've got some from other sources. But in general, Lowe's or Home Depot or a hardware store is going to be your general best bet to buy it. It typically comes in 4-foot by 8-foot sheets. Now let's talk about cost. Typically a 1/2-inch sheet, I think around here, is about $12 to $15. Your 2-inch sheets, I think, are about $25 to $30. But it'll last you a long time, and it goes a long ways. So we've talked about the kind of foam you want to use, the pink or the blue stuff, extruded polystyrene, where to buy it, and the cost. Okay, so we've talked about what kind of foam to use. Well, guys, you got to be able to cut this foam. And I know we're all on budgets. Some of us own more tools than others. If you're just getting into it, the cheapest thing to probably buy are some tools from the Hot Wire Foam Factory. Let me go off screen. I'm going to be going off screen a lot, grabbing stuff to show you. They're crafters tools. You can spend little or a lot of money. If you've only got money for one tool, I think this is the 6-inch Plunge Cutter. But this is typically, I believe, around $30 to $40 with shipping. Comes with a power supply. I've bought a lot of tools from them. I've about wore this one out. They're really good. In fact, I burned up a power supply one time with them and they replaced it for free. They're really nice people if you talk to them on the phone. But if you're getting into it, one of these tools is typically a good one. Some of your bigger gaming and hobby stores I've seen sell Hot Wire Foam Factory tools. But look up Hot Wire Foam Factory. The Plunge Cutter is a good one to get started with. I may be wrong on the name. I think they call this one the freehand router. Now I've added a little piece here to make mine a little more stable. See, I've had to duct tape mine. I've about wore this thing out. This is another good tool if you can only afford one tool. But this is a very good one to shave and sculpt with, and just to cut in general. Now, of course, I use a combination of those and a scroll saw. If you go back on my older videos, you'll see me talking about a Ryobi variable speed scroll saw. A scroll saw is a very good tool for cutting out foam. There's different blades on there. A variable speed scroll saw is going to cost you about $70 to $100 probably. You can get a nice refurbished one at a tool store for that. Of course, you can get one that's more expensive, but for around the $100 mark, it's a good tool. It's going to last you a while. You're going to want to buy a special blade for it that's not jagged, but I think it's, I can't think of the name of it, but it's basically doesn't have teeth on it. It's kind of about the shape of my finger. It's a round blade that goes up and down. That's what you want to use for cutting out foam with. You don't want to use a wood blade. You have to look back at my scroll saw video and you'll see what I'm talking about. So you're either going to want to use powered foam cutter tools or a scroll saw. That's your best bet. Now let's talk about the other things I want you to gather up before we start building. Let's talk about adhesives. Now, depending on where you live, if you're in America, Aleene's Tacky Glue is a very good deal. You can usually buy this at Walmart, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, any crafting store. You're going to see Aleene's Tacky Glue. It's a very common brand. I'm sure if you're in England or in Germany or in Europe somewhere, there's other good brands. This is your general all-purpose glue that's white. Very good, very inexpensive. And also, I'll explain in another video, gather you up a bunch of toothpicks. This is one of the most important things for making things stick together when working with foam. Just generic sized toothpicks. And usually you pick these up pretty cheap. And lastly, let's talk about paint real quick. Alright, you're going to want to use acrylic based paints, which means it's based on water. You don't have to use any type of spray paints, but I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And this is a worthy topic for a whole video. Typically, what you buy at Hobby Lobby, Walmart, you're going to want a bunch of black acrylic paint. You can typically buy some in large containers. In fact, let me go off screen for just a second. You can usually buy some about this size, and for your basing, I recommend actually a huge size because you're going to go through a lot of it. Your foam's going to soak this up. Now, if you have a little more money to spend, you can primer it with spray paint. Okay, let me warn you, and this is where they have a whole video. You cannot just go to the store and buy spray paint. If you do and spray it, you'll crumble up your whole project. It'll just shrivel and disappear. And you'll be sad and crying. You have to buy a special spray paint. Krylon makes two different brands. They make some small ones called Krylon Shortcuts. This does not have any chemical propellant in it. The propellant is water-based on this. This is safe to spray foam with. It will not destroy it. So for about $3 or a little more dollars, you can get a teeny tiny can that's not going to last you long. I've typically been finding these at Hobby Lobby and Michael's. Now, these are called Krylon Shortcuts. I've got a very local hardware store around where I live, really nice guys that are Krylon dealer. If you go in their store, they have a huge rack of Krylon paints. Typically, here in North Georgia, I have not found these anywhere. But I went up to the guys there and I said, hey, can you order me a box of Krylon H2O Black? So the guy calls him up, looks it up, his local dealer. He got me a box of 6 of these. This is black spray paint. It's about $6 a can. These have lasted a long time, but this is Krylon H2O. It's water-based latex paint. This is safe for foam. Typically, like you may have seen on my large tower project, what I'll do is spray a large project with this. It's not going to fill in everything, but I'll spray it good, and then I'll go behind it with acrylic paint like black for my primer, and I'll fill it in that way. So guys, I think we've went through everything I want to talk about. We've talked about the foam you're going to need. We've talked about the tools you're going to need. And we've talked about paint. One more thing I want to show you, I almost forgot. And you'll understand this more when we get into one of the videos where we use it. I want you to go to the store and get you some cat litter. And cat litter is typically inexpensive, but you'll see it here. I'm not talking about used cat litter, new cat litter, by the way. But I typically keep some in a bag. We're going to use this to fill in some of the cracks and to give the illusion of smaller rocks and rubble. This is very inexpensive flocking. In fact, sometimes I'll use this as flocking on certain miniatures and other terrain as well. But gather you up some fresh, new, not used cat litter. We're going to use that too. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. We're going to be working on the next few weeks some more tutorial videos. We're going to get into some different kinds of pieces. I've got a modular set of caverns slash mines that I've learned watching other people and looking at some books. So we're going to get into how to build some modular mines and caverns. Stay tuned for the next couple of videos. Thanks for watching. God bless. Please subscribe if you haven't already so you can see the new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next video.